parts of being a scientist that I really enjoy, and one that my friends and family find a little mysterious, is going to meetings. I don't mean committee meetings or business meetings. I mean meetings like, for me, the annual meeting of the Geological Society of America. These are typically 4 or 5 days filled with research presentations, social events, field trips, casual encounters with friends and colleagues, exhibits, and more. Each meeting gives me and my students a chance to share the research we've been working on with colleagues and get feedback, to meet people who are doing similar work and find out more about it, among other things.
A typical poster presentation involves students standing for several hours in front of posters they've created that highlight their research projects. Conference attendees, including faculty, students, and graduate recruiters, approach the students and ask questions about the student research projects, including questions about methodology, analysis, and conclusions.
These meetings and research presentations are an incredibly important part of the process of science. In fact, scientific meetings have been going on for over 450 years, since 1640, when the Royal Society of London first started meeting to discuss science. Since then, of course, the number and diversity of meetings has grown considerably, but the whole concept has been very persistent through time. And why is that? In other videos, we talk about the scientific community. Meetings are a major way that different communities come together, and presenting research in progress or results of research at a meeting is one of the norms of that community. It's part of a continuum of communication that builds scientific knowledge. That continuum might start with conversations about ideas, progress through more in-depth discussions with mentors and colleagues, continue through informal presentations to a lab group or at a school-based meeting, to a more formal presentation at a regional or national meeting, and go all the way to writing a paper and sending the manuscript off to a journal to be peer-reviewed and published. Along the way, you are constantly getting feedback that makes your reasoning and interpretation stronger. But even publishing a paper isn't the end of that process. Communicating beyond the scientific community through social media posts, press releases, and even talking to legislators or policymakers or business leaders can make the impact of your research greater. Knowing how to talk about your research is just as important as knowing how to do it. Here are some students talking about their experiences presenting at a research symposium.
In 2017, I made my first presentation at the annual Biomedical Research Conference for minority students, better known as ABBA camps. I was not used to public speaking and I was very nervous. So to improve my public speaking skills, I started off by practicing in front of my bedroom mirror. And then I moved on to family members and friends. Finally, I presented my research to my mentor and other faculty members who gave me tips that helped me improve my presentation skills. By the time I got to ABBA camps, I was still a little nervous, but my increased confidence made me feel more comfortable. I presented my work exceptionally well, and since then I've had several opportunities to engage in public speaking and presentations. Now, I have no fear of presenting my work in public settings.
I presented my preliminary results of my master's thesis research at the annual conference for the Society for the Advancement of Chicanos and Native Americans in Science, better known as SACNAS. I definitely felt more and more confident the more I practiced, and by the time my poster judge at SACNAS came by, I felt like I nailed my poster presentation.
To prepare for a presentation, I usually write out what I'm going to say and practice in front of friends. The more you talk about your research in front of people, the easier it becomes. Presenting at a conference is also valuable because you can make new connections and network with as many people as possible.
You heard a lot of students mention how they got comfortable talking to people about their research, got good questions and things that made them think. This kind of feedback is a great informal peer review process. You get a sense for how well your interpretation fits in the bigger picture and where you might need to do a little more work to describe your assumptions. That informal review process helps a lot as you start to put together a more formal paper or just continue your research. But there are a whole lot more people presenting at a meeting than just you, of course. Going to see others' presentations and asking questions can both provide some informal peer review for them and can give you new ideas to pursue, making it all part of that continuum of communicating your work. Whenever you have the chance, go to places where scientific presentations are happening and talk to people. You can learn about what they're doing and get ideas for your own work and how you want to present it. And take advantage of opportunities to present your own work too. Like any skill, giving a good presentation takes practice, and it's never too early to start.